Your Forza MotorSport 7 experience is one that hasn't deviated much from the time-tested loop established by racing genre kingpin Gran Turismo back in 1997, but developer Turn 10 has crafted a new benchmark with this year's edition. On PC, there's nothing that can match its automotive girth, and it's the definitive car collectathon on any console. Improvements to the driving atmosphere, the massage sound, plus its new dynamic weather and drastically better skies and lighting, all combine to create the best installment of the series since the fan favourite Forza Motorsport 4. There are a lot of things I like about the Forza Motorsport series, but chief amongst them is its commitment to showcasing the broadest selection of retro and modern metal on the market. It combines the kind of cars you can find in just about any contemporary racing game, with lesser-known oddities pulled from the far fringes of global car culture. Here's an example. I am an unashamed meathead who likes most muscle cars and sports cars, but I prefer them if they can carry a refrigerator and a couch in the back. Well, Forza Motorsport 7 has 4 generations of Holden Utes. Look at these Vegemite-eating, kangaroo-punching buggers. And yes, these might not resonate with you the same as they do with me because, like Vegemite, they're very much an acquired taste. My point is, out of the 700 cars here, chances are there's something that will resonate with you in much the same way. There is an overall lack of new-to-the-series cars that didn't already debut in past games or as previous DLC, but this is still an utterly mega list. The absurd level of car detail established by previous games has been absolutely retained. Want to know what sort of screwdriver you'd need to yank the headlight out of an A9X Tirana? Pass me a Phillips head. They're also more convincing on track, with wipers that now flutter and vibrate at high speed. Turn 10 has applied more shake to the cabin view too, which adds a bit of ferocity that's been admittedly lacking from Forza. My one specific gripe here is this odd shift animation, like your driver is stifling a wave. Oh hey, no it's not. There's a new dash view that alleviates that, however, and it's quite good. Marching at a decisively locked 60 frames per second under every circumstance, even with all that detail, makes this just a tremendously sexy game, but it's especially so in wet conditions. Lighting and cloud cover changing each time you use a track is a huge change for the better from Forza Motorsport 6 as well. And while Forza Motorsport 7's top-shelf graphics were getting to second base with my eyeballs, the cranked-up sound design was busy slapping my earballs silly with a symphony of engine howl and exhaust crackle. It lacks some of the extra layers of squeaks and whinnies and wiper clunks you get in Project Cars 2, but it's a really strong and rich mix overall that begs to be played loud. Controller handling feels as if it's been honed to convey more heft, but it's still quite straightforward to hold satisfying drift angles, poising your car sideways on the throttle. Forza Motorsport 7 still favours fun over unflinching realism. The tyre dynamics definitely lack the bite exhibited in Assetto Corsa or Project Cars 2, but cars still pitch and squirrel around under heavy braking, and they still tend to require an armful of opposite lock whenever you emerge at a corner exit a fraction too vigorously. On a wheel, there have been improvements too. F1 2017 and Project Cars 2 have raised the bar in this realm quite a bit over the past few months, but Forza Motorsport 7 is not too shabby. Fair warning, the default wheel settings out of the box are pretty bogus. Career mode has shifted to a more linear and structured solo experience than previous games. The new Forza Drivers' Cup may sound a little tacky at first, but chasing the grand prize at the end of it is propelling me through Forza Motorsport 7 like no game in the series before. I do wish there was a little more freedom to modify events like Forza Horizon 3 introduced with its Horizon Blueprint system, but free play mode still offers plenty of scope to create the sort of events you prefer, including multi-class races. Turn 10 has doubled down on the car collecting too. Cars are now arranged in tiers, and the more of them you have, the further up these tiers you'll be able to pluck cars from. It does admittedly smack a little of Gran Turismo 5's aggravating XP system, which locked cars you could otherwise afford until you'd reached an arbitrary level, but I like the way this system encourages us to interact with cars that may otherwise be ignored. Unlike GT, however, Forza Motorsport 7 still allows you to drive anything you want in free play, so nothing is ever totally inaccessible. I'm less enamoured by the new loot boxes as a way of collecting cars and other items. They just seem poised to suck credits from my account that I'd prefer to spend outright on the stuff that I want. Microsoft pitched Forza Motorsport 7 as the ultimate automotive playset, and it's hard to argue otherwise. With enough cars to fill a dozen museums and the most generous selection of tracks to date in the series, the amount of driving, experimenting and racing here is absolutely mammoth. Accessible as always for beginners, but crammed with content targeted at lifelong car junkies, Forza Motorsport 7 is Turn 10's finest love letter to speed and style this generation, no matter what language you speak. For more racing, check out our reviews of Project Cars 2, F1 2017, and Dirt 4.